Previously on Pokemon Emerald Rouge. Okay, screw the fiastics. The feeder stuff. Whatever the word may be. No charades. This is the last episode of Pokemon Emerald Rouge, and that may feel a little weird considering how long some of the previous parts have been. Surely I would need at least one or two more videos to go through the final two of the Elite Four, even if I could squeeze a champion fight into its own video. Well, I've been going through an ordeal the past couple months in particular, depending on how long it takes before I actually upload this. Cutting to the chase, hard drive died. Hard drive has all the video files for Emerald Rouge. Only thing I had backup Emerald Rouge related was the original recordings. No voiceovers, no edited videos, no video editing files. So the only way I could salvage this series is if I took the non-voiceover video files and redid post-commentary for who knows how many hours worth of footage. And considering I lost a lot of fun with this series, between how horrible the run went from this point forward, and all the shenanigans that I've gone through with trying to get this edited, I'm willing to just say screw it. Though, it would be a shame to have these video files go completely in vain. So here's the compromise that I've reached. We still have 2 Elite Four members, a champion fight, and maybe something else afterwards. I trimmed the footage so the boss fights for each of these routes that still remain are, well, still intact. And if anything critical happens in between, I'll include that as well. But overall, this is mostly just a boss rush with some post-commentary to summarize what happened. Assuming that I'm still up to it. I hate to admit it because I just got done making a community post saying that I wouldn't commentate until I'm feeling better, but this intro at the very least is being recorded while I'm still sick. I promise I'll pace myself over multiple recording sessions to ensure I don't overdo it, but I really want to just get done with Emerald Rouge so I can just move on to other things. I'm tired of having this series become an albatross across my neck. So let's continue to go through Minda before I completely go bonkers out of rage and frustration. Because this area, route, whatever you want to call the lead up to each of these boss fights, in particular, has me steamed. Steam. I'm just leaving all my attempts to do the English language justice in because I need as much voiceover to fill up this hour-long video as possible. So you're getting all of it. I am not being the can't speak English allegations today. And with the mess that this hard drive has made with Dawn and Jin, pretty much locking me out of being able to update any text in the mod, I'm not being able to spell or use proper grammar allegations either anytime soon. Anytime in 2024. Anyways, this fight in particular has been especially frustrating. Oh, nothing to do with the battle itself. Purely on the editing board. Especially frustrating because I had a whole video of this Elite Four area edited, but I was holding on to it to review it before uploading it. Then the hard drive died. So yeah, as much as I like Emerald Rouge in theory, playing on my own time, this series has been cursed beyond belief and has just ultimately become my scapegoat for every problem I've had in the past 2 to 4 months. Tempted to say all my problems this year, but I don't think Emerald Rouge has even been going on for that long. My god, like the whole materia production shenanigans, how much longer it takes to edit these due to how much I cut out, just due to the nature of this game, the fact that this was done during my transition from old to new computer, that part overall is a good thing, but it did come at some minor down costs, including the fact that the software that I used to edit video thumbnails is a 2013, if not older copy, oh, way older than 2013 even, of Adobe Photoshop. If you know Adobe Photoshop, you may already see the problem already. The software is a dinosaur in the grand scheme of computers, but it still runs miles over any alternative I could find. GIMP, complete garbage compared to even the copy of Photoshop I had. Actual Adobe Photoshop, like the most recent version? Hell no am I paying a subscription service just to use a product that I already bought with my money. I don't even know if I want to go into the whole feelings I have towards subscription-based software. That's not a time for now, because I actually want to keep my voice. I've been running my voice dead enough just from going through the course of living while I'm fighting off whatever sort of damn cold I have. This doesn't even have to do with Emerald Rouge at this point. I'm just letting out all the steam and frustration I've had over the course of the past couple weeks. Let me get back to Emerald Rouge. I gotta finish picking a bone with this series before I go off on ranting on other topics. As I was saying, the hard drive shenanigans, this is all just stuff that I would never have to worry about if I was playing the game on my own time. But doing it for a video series kinda just killed any enjoyment I had of the game in general, and the only reason the series still goes on at this point is out of spite. So here we are, facing off in a Ditto battle. Well, I can't stop thinking about the wonderful video that I originally had for you all, of live commentary, specifically of this fight, and probably of this moment. But instead, you have to deal with me ranting about how much I hate the series instead. I am so sorry about that. Speaking of recording in short spurts because I'm sick, I think I've reached my limit. I'm satisfied with getting 7 minutes of commentary for you all. I'll see you back like tomorrow or possibly even the day after to continue on with this fight. It'll give me a chance to cool down. I let out the steam and now I can just move on with the rest of my day and do something fun. To ensure this whole video isn't just me being mad, I'll leave a little note for myself for the next time I record to tell you about whatever I did for fun. Probably something game dev related, maybe playing something on Steam. I did get a bunch of Steam gift cards for Christmas, so I gotta decide on what game to actually buy with them. There's a few things on my wish list, but now that I actually have the funds to get something with Steam, I'm getting choice paralysis in actually making the decision. Okay, for real, it's time for me to stop. At least for a millisecond in your time. And I'm back. Didn't expect to take a week before I record any more of this, but I also didn't expect to be a week in and still be as sick, if not more, than I was before, so apologies in advance. But there's definitely going to be at least one more time jump before I get through this Emerald Rouge recording. That being said, a tiny bit of progress every now and then is better than no progress at all, so I'll take it. That being said, I recall the last time I recorded, over a week ago, I mentioned that I was going to step away and do something fun, and unfortunately I can try to recall everything I did to no avail, but I do recall some of the games I was playing included that one game that feels like all the talk in my circles, UFO 50. I'll be honest with y'all, first when I tried it, I didn't get the hype. That first game that they have in the list is hot garbage. That's at least what it felt like. Calling it hot garbage might be a little too harsh. It's basically a recreation of a retro Metroidvania, with all the quirks intact. I should probably explain the gimmick of UFO 50. That will make a lot of this more sense. Do you remember a lot of those old games from the 90s and that advertise themselves as like a big package of games all in one cart? Well, UF50 is basically that concept, but the games aren't hot garbage. Which is kind of ironic when I just got done saying the first game in there felt like hot garbage. But trust me, it gets better. I played the second game, which was like a bug invader, and that was better than the first game, but not quite enough to really get the hype. It wasn't until I skipped around and came across the Magical Garden game in the set that I actually fell in love with it. Like, it's a simple arcade game, but that alone justified the cost of the entire package for me. It's definitely been my favorite so far, and I keep going back to it even though there's still a ton of games in the UF50 set that I have yet to even touch. Alright, third Elite Four member done. 1 out of like 5 sets of battles that I have yet to post-commentate before I can release this video and be done with Pokemon Emerald Rouge proper. Yippee! Now, I can't recall anything of significance that happened between the 3rd and 4th Elite Four member, so I think this is a prime opportunity to go over some things that I accidentally talked over in post-commentary, due to me having to explain why I was post-commentating this entire video. So that eerie thing that was on screen for a couple of seconds is, I forget the exact name, but it's basically the Cursed Charm Room, where you get a choice between 3 different charms which will improve your gameplay, but in exchange you have to take on a curse that will hamper your gameplay. For this run, I took on the Adaptability Charm, which makes all my same type attack bonus do 50% more damage, but in exchange, I got a curse that makes me pay like, how much it was? 40% or so whenever I buy anything from a shop. And you know, I feel like that was a fair exchange. We're basically at the end of the run, and at that point, I pretty much had every item that I possibly needed to buy, so paying more for things isn't really the end of the world. Meanwhile, a boost the same type attack bonus is huge. I typically don't take on the curses because I'm always afraid of the negative effect of them, but I feel like that particular exchange of Charm and Curse was a fairly good exchange. Anyways, it's time for the Ghost Trial leader. I know she's technically Elite Four in the Lola games, but I always know her for the trial itself. And no, I won't say her name, not because I got any qualms against her. Really like her character in the game, but I'm bad with names. And this extends to real life as well as the Pokemon world. I've just been online for so long that having to memorize and recount people's names in real life has not been an issue for several years. It's I guess all that name recognition memory went to like the first 5 or 4 or so generations of Pokemon, and I have not been able to recount, especially in the Pokemon games, I haven't been able to recount things as well after like the 5th generation. I guess we all just reach our peak eventually. After all, there's over 1,000 plus Pokemon these days. I'd actually be more worried than impressed if anyone can actually recite every single Pokemon name off the top of their head. That being said, I've already recorded more than I was planning to today, so I'm gonna take a break. Hopefully not for another week plus, but no guarantees. See y'all for the next time jump. Guess who took another break after a week? And guess what? I don't feel much better than I did when I recorded the last one. In fact, the part of my gut says I should wait, but screw it. It's been almost a week, and I know there is something I want to talk about. If I wait much longer, I'm going to completely forget. It's already going to take me a little bit longer than usual to remember where I left off at. I've been sick for so long, I'm starting to run out of backlog. As I'm recording this, I basically decided, screw it. If I can't actually record new videos to commentate, I'm just going to go back through all of my old videos throughout 2024 and make a super video out of it. And that's been going okay. It started out as just an excuse for something for me to do while I was waiting to recover, since I pretty much edited all the videos that I previously recorded before this whole sick phase went through, but it kind of ballooned out of control in terms of scale. especially because there wasn't really anything else to edit. It was at the point where I was editing a clip from June and noticed that it was like a 50-minute long video, that maybe I can get away with dividing it in half. I mean, I feel like if I went above 30 to 40, let alone 50, that was more than enough reason to split it off in half, especially because I get the feeling there's not going to be any other videos for the back half of the month. Maybe even February, depending on how long it takes for me to recover. So, better for you all to have at least 2 videos to watch rather than just one big video, is my mindset. Plus, with the way my videos take to render, I don't think I can afford to render a 2-hour long video. You would think with a newer computer with better processing power that the videos would take less time to render. But then I realized that I wasn't really doing the 4K thing that YouTube videos tend to be these days before making the transition, and after starting to render videos at 4K, they take just about as long to render as back on the old computer. Hopefully they at least look better in quality. I don't know though, I never really record any sort of footage that would be in 4K. I play frickin' Nintendo and indie games. I'm not foaming at the mouth for the highest quality graphics in my gameplay, let alone my videos. But I'm hoping that the higher processing power means that YouTube renders it better. So hopefully you all have noticed the difference. Hopefully that makes it all worthwhile. Point being, I think at this point, the 2024 moment video has earned the right to be 2 different videos. Anyways, all that rambling, I never actually talked about the thing I wanted to actually bring up before I inevitably take another break for another week. I think the big thing was, since the last time we met, I actually took part in Spread Tito Community Day. I was going to do the usual 1.5–2 hour walk, but I felt like I got really gypped by shiny luck in the first hour or so. I felt like I was barely getting any shiny Pokemon. So I went a little bit longer, and about halfway through, if not the back half of the community day, my luck really started to turn around, so that got me excited to keep going even longer than normal. I even got lucky enough to get my first shiny from a Dynamax adventure, or Dynamax raid. Dynamax Battle. Dynamax Battle is the right term. Man, they're called Dynamax raids in Sword and Shield, so you can't exactly blame me for getting my terminology mixed up. Especially considering Dynamax raids pretty much just stole from Pokemon Go raids. And now Pokemon Go is stealing back from Sword and Shield just to pad out their game more to try to keep people from deleting their accounts. Despite how much I talk about Pokemon Go, I don't really consider myself an active player these days. Being sick doesn't help, but I really haven't felt as motivated to open up the game throughout the week. I already was not going out to walk, besides the weekend and times I had off, at least outside where I could actually play the game, not including treadmill time. But I've noticed these past few days I haven't really felt like even opening up the app too often, so I don't know. Pokemon Go has always, first and foremost, been something I keep on my phone to help encourage me and reward me for my walks. So it doesn't really matter as much if I'm not getting every single raid or doing every single Pokemon event. Community days are pretty much the main ones I actually go out for. If there's something that really strikes my fancy on time that I have off anyways, I might readjust my schedule a little bit to go for it, but for the most part, like, I guess it doesn't help too that, like, in Pokemon Go, community days and big events like that always seem to take place in the afternoon, and I prefer to walk in the mornings, so it already feels like the game is working against my favor in that sense. I feel a bit bad about it all, but not being as active in the game also means that I'm not as stressed out over doing every little thing in the game, and that part is good, because honestly, like, as much as it's nice to get out and exercise, I have better things to do with my life these days than exclusively play Pokemon Go, so I'll celebrate any time that I don't feel bad about missing out on something. My bad, I didn't mean to turn this into a whole rant about Pokemon Go, cause overall, my time out for Community Day was fun, and it was nice to get out and get some fresh air, and it was kind of the first sign of me having a good day during this whole 6th section, because I felt pretty good while I was walking. And it wasn't until I got back into the car and was starting to drive off that I really was noticing any of the symptoms that I had throughout this whole ill shenanigan adventure. And there's been a few good days here and there since then, so I'm a bit more optimistic now than I was in previous weeks when I was recording. It still kind of sucks that it's been taking this long. And I'm a bit concerned with how long the recovery was. If it wasn't for the fact I've been hearing about other people in the area going through similar things, I would be a bit more concerned and be a bit more proactive in getting to the bottom of it, but as far as I can tell, it's just something I gotta wait out, like it or not. So while it sucks that I wasn't able to keep up with my goals in regards to sharing videos with you all like I like, this whole 6 saga hasn't been completely in vain. I've been able to do some productive things with my free time. For example, like I've been making a lot of progress with Got It. I'm almost up to the next build of the little platformer I've been working on. Maybe it'll even be up by the time this video is out. No promises because it's kind of just an on and off casual thing, but as I'm recording this, I'm just about putting the final touches on the last level I want to do before sharing it, and after that it's just a matter of how much I want to learn and implement regarding menus before releasing it. Because like, I feel like I've mentioned it before, but just to make sure we're all on the same page, this game isn't really something I'm planning on making official. It's more so just a way to get me to practice using and learning new things in Got It. So how I've been approaching it is, every time I get the game to some sort of presentable build, I've been posting a little demo of it up on, how's it pronounced? itch.io? I don't know how you pronounce it without saying the URL. And when I make a build, I try to release it as like a browser game. That way you don't have to download anything, you can just play and try it out without actually like downloading anything. The current build I have up there was back on the old computer when I was using Got It 3. For the new computer I was able to use Got It 4, but I pretty much had to rework everything from start. There's very little I was actually able to salvage, and a lot of it was just redoing everything I'd done, which is the biggest reason why it's been so long in between updates on it. Maybe at some point, if it gets big enough in scale, I'll actually try to sell it. Right now, the odds of that are pretty slim, but not impossible. But either way, I do want to share what I do with it as I make progress on it, and when it's all done. I've been making a few posts about it every time I hit a milestone on Blue Sky, like, oh, that reminds me, I recently, as in like a few days ago, finally implemented the checkpoint system the way I wanted, but I never actually posted the clip to Blue Sky. It's probably going to be too late tonight for me to do it, but definitely this weekend I'm gonna share that checkpoint progress. So yeah, even when I haven't been feeling up to recording or working on videos in general, all that game design work alone has been plenty to keep me busy, which is nice. Also, I've been playing quite a few games. I think I've mentioned UFO 50 already, but I have played a good chunk of new games out of that game. If you know the game, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm finding some new favorites along the way. Oh hey, I must be feeling better than I thought, cause we're done with the Elite Four already. And I think that's a record since starting this whole 6 saga of post-commentary I've done one sitting. And you know, I'm still feeling alright, so I think we'll keep going for a little bit longer. We're at the point anyways that I gotta actually start explaining things, like, in between this and the champion fight, I came across this room with the Sacred Ash. The Sacred Ash is a very powerful item, which, as we're seeing on screen here, on the off chance you wipe out in anywhere on your adventure, the Sacred Ash will revive your entire party. However, it has a pretty powerful downside, where the number of Pokemon you can carry in your party is reduced to 5, which is the main reason why I rarely actually take it. And I'm way too attached to my team at this point to actually go through and pick up the items, so I guess we're just gonna have to do our best without it. After all, this is the final fight versus the champion of our entire adventure. And gotta be frank, out of all the people we could be facing off against for our final challenge, for some reason I would have never expected it to be Professor Hisui. Oh yeah, you're the Pokemon League champion now. Wouldn't it be nice if it was that simple? The truth is, there's one more person you'll have to battle if you want that title. Waiting for myself to actually hit the A button. One of the many qualms of post-commentary. Alright, let's get into this. As much as I want to delve into stories of what I've been up to in that, this is the battle where everything changes. This is where this run goes to die. And I'm not spoiling it in the way you're thinking. I'll just leave it at that. Screw the hard drive issues. Screw being sick. This single battle is the biggest reason that I've been tempted to cancel uploading this run for the longest time. I feel like the mistake that I make in this battle will haunt me for the rest of my life. And do I really want to put that out there on the internet? Well, if you're seeing this video, then I guess you know the answer. I just am gonna beg for forgiveness when we get to that point. I never claimed to be a hardcore competitive battler. I never claimed to be the best, not even close to it. I didn't think we'd get here so soon. So I led the battle setting up some hazards. Great! Thinking big brain there. And this isn't exactly the greatest setup, but I was thinking the Wader couldn't do too much to me, so let's get some hits in. Oh no, account mine. Right. Setup stats. At least I could do a super effective U-turn, get hit, and get this matchup to something that's much more in my favor before the setup gets too out of hand. So far, so good! So far, so good! A bit more setup, a little unorthodox. I'm not sure if I caught on to the big thing that Wader's leading up to yet, but it won't really matter in the end. But good old innocent me, still pretty confident at this point. It's halfway done, I just need to go for one Shadow Force and knock out the Psychic type. Can you see the problem yet? I forgot that Wader is part normal type. That or normal type's immunity. I don't know, normal psychic types are so unorthodox to me, I would believe either excuse. So now I gotta find a way to recover from my stupid mistake. Because it's got a +8 stats boost, which pretty much means that stored power will obliterate anything, not to mention that some of those boosts were in special attack. And it's got agility, so I'm pretty sure it outspeeds my entire team. Though, I don't think past me really caught on to the gravity of the situation. Yeah, I knew the stored power was bad, but I think I underestimated just how much of a speed boost the agility left. So I'm just flustering for my team in pure panic, trying to figure out a way to take out this Wader before it can do any more damage, and I'm currently leaning towards going towards my fastest Pokemon and just wipe it out with whatever I got. So I think at the time I really thought Derp stood a chance. I can't watch. I think I knew deep in my soul that one extreme speed wouldn't be enough, so I was really hoping that I'd just be faster and I wouldn't have to sack off Pokemon. But because of that, Derp had to go down in vain. There's no way for me to know. I'm not a mental calculator, but it just makes watching this hurt even more. Especially knowing that this all could have been avoided if I just went for any other move besides the frickin' Shadow Force. At least Scarfy's sacrifice isn't in vain, because at least from this range we can definitely take it out with an Aqua Jet. It sucks knowing that I pretty much had to sacrifice one more Pokemon than needed to go through it. I like my team so much that it just hurts to see any of them go. And we're not even done with the fight yet. The worst part is that we're not even close to done. It's just that this was the moment where everything fell apart. It's just so wild that I have so much raw emotion still, even though this is all entirely post-commentated. Like that groan? That was from the heart. Especially seeing the fact that I'm already down to 3 Pokemon, and like how many Pokemon we've taken down of his? 2? I think? I don't even know what to say anymore. Aurora should be a good option. Also, calling BS on getting a Thunder in the middle of a blizzard. Like, come on. Well, at least at this point we're finally going to get into the item spamming. If I couldn't use items to save the previous 3 team members of my Pokemon squad, then I can at least use these 70 plus max potions to save the rest of the team. Right? Oh my god. I guess it's becoming apparent how often I actually fight against legendary Pokemon in a competitive sense, because I certainly thought I was going to live that. I did not see the Hydro Pump knocking me out from that health range coming, no matter how obvious it might have been. It doesn't even matter anymore. Nothing can beat the stupidity of the freaking Shell's Force on a normal type move. It's all downhill from here, I'm sorry. If you had any respect for me as a Pokemon player before going into the series, prepare to just have it all shattered. That should have been Aurora's moment. Immune to the Dragon type moves. Freeze Dry is quite effective against this thing. This Palkia should not have drawn any more blood. Metaphorically. The only light I can find in all this is the poetic beauty of one of the Lake Guardians being the one to take down the legendary Beast of Time. Even if it comes down to just item spamming until it knocks itself out with a Life Orb. I don't know for sure, I don't remember if that's exactly what's going to happen, but it sure looks like that's the direction that this battle is going in. Come on, Palkia! Do more recoil damage! Let's go! So much for getting any sort of benefit out of my Aurora Veil. I got 67 more potions to go. At this rate, I could do this all day. It's the lame way, but it is a way. That's partly... I can't even say that's the reason why I felt like it didn't even matter if I won after this battle. Doesn't help that I've lost like 2/3 of the team that I've grown attached to throughout the course of this adventure. To one stupid mistake. Okay, the Palkia, with the way the Palkia fought, maybe not all my Pokemon were doomed because of that stupid mistake, but I certainly would have lost a lot less Pokemon if it wasn't for that mistake. I guess I should just count my blessings that, for some reason, the 2 Pokemon I have left managed to have an answer, I guess is the word I'm looking for, to the rest of Kiwi's team. We'll see if that's enough to get by. But the battle has evened out. It's his 2 versus my 2. And 10 bazillion Hyper Potions in my bag. As long as nothing one-shots me, I think I'll be fine. Okay. You thought I was gonna jinx it right there. I don't blame ya. I don't blame you for having 0 faith in me after the way this fight has gone down. It's a good thing taunt doesn't work on items because that doesn't change my strats that much. If I got turned to attack you, I'm still going for that energy ball. And if I got the heal, then I am using a freaking hyper potion. I mean a max potion. Alright, Raichu's last one. I forget what my Lin Sensei's last one, so yeah, not really an option. Zen's gotta take us through this fight, or we're just out of luck. Ooh, I mean, at least that was just a crit, and it has another life orb, so you know what that means, guys. I hope it doesn't dunk. I hope it doesn't come down to it. But we all know there is a way to win this, if so be. We all hope that it doesn't come down to it. But it certainly is a possible way to win the fight. Luckily, I've had some opportunities to get damage in between max potion heals. But the max potions certainly carried me for this fight. I definitely would not have won without max potions, and I am not ashamed to admit it. Mostly because I used up all my shame over the stupid Shadow Force incident. So, we won, but at what cost? Well, even though so much for our team fainted, at least our good old team made it to the Hall of Fame. At least all the Pokemon that have carried me up to this point will be registered. Worst case scenario, it'll only be 2. But hey, at least that's 2 of the original squad. Okay, who am I kidding? I can't keep this facade up for much longer. Just get to the plot twist, game. Yeah. It does one of those. So all that effort just gave by the champion fight tooth and nail. And we're not even done yet. Things are looking terrible right now, but at least we have an opportunity to build. A slim opportunity, but at least 2 encounters with strong Pokemon, and or a route to just pick a Pokemon to fill up the rest of our team slots. Do you believe I can do this? Because I believe I can do this. As much as it stings not to be able to keep our team all the way to the end, at least we got one more moment to make some new friends along the way. As soon as I prepare my Uxie to actually be able to catch Pokemon rather than just be on his more offensive moveset. Alright game, what do you got for me?